Good evening. Welcome to the City of North Pole Council meeting for July 6th. Please call the roll.
Mr. Claus.
Here.
Mr. Schuster.
Here.
Mr. Skips.
Here.
Mr. Brandt.
Here.
Ms. Rolfe.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
And Mayor Turch is absent.
Okay, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation?
States of America.
Dear Father, as for the council meeting today, may our hearts be united in love and fellowship. Tear down every barrier and that divides us and fill us with our desires for the united.
And for tonight's spotlight on North Pole business, we have the Santa Senior Center.
Hello, my name is Joseph Galinas. I'm the current president of the Santa Senior Center in North Pole. For those of you that did not know, the building at 5th and Snowman Lane used to be the fire department, the city hall, and the police department. And some years later, in '84, the Santa Senior Center took over that building from the city, and now has been in operation there for over 41 years and some change. And we have a mission to make sure that our seniors have something to do in the community and able to keep what skills that they have going so that they do not have to move on to different places if they can operate themselves. So our mission is create inviting and enjoyable programs to encourage older adults to utilize their skills, to develop their potential, and to remain engaged in the community. We provided a pancake breakfast on the 4th for the parade, and that's always enjoyed every year as the parade goes by the senior center. A lot of people eat a lot of pancakes. So we have a barbecue coming up on the 18th. I encourage everybody to come. It is to help raise funds so that we can re-roof the senior center. It's in need. And on Mondays, we have exercise from, 10 in the morning to 11:15. And then 11:15, we have a different exercise program that takes over, a little more advanced. And then it's games, Farkle, cards, whatever anybody wants to play. And it usually gets pretty competitive over there. So you only have to be 50 years of age to be over there. So we all qualify, all of you. So I encourage you all to come over and see what we do. I'm sure that there's people that you know that need a place to come and visit with people, to interact with people that maybe do not have family in North Pole or in Fairbanks, and that you might give them a word to say, come over there. There's a lot of good fellowship going on. Okay, and that's what I have.
Question for you. Like a calendar of all the events that you guys have?
Yeah, I got a calendar that takes us up to September. So I can start off with right now what's left in July. In July, we have our exercise on Monday with games. We've got on Tuesday, we've got Shanghai Rummy, if you're into competitiveness over there. And then we have a crafting on Thursdays and an Alzheimer's art link. So this is to help people remember things through art. Okay. It's got a very good reception. We do our birthday lunch on the second Wednesday of the month for anybody that has a birthday in that month. They get recognized. We do a little, what do you call it, 50/50 raffle. So you can buy some raffle tickets, see if you can win a little pot. Our board meetings happen the second Wednesday of the month. And they're usually not too fired up like they are here sometimes, but they have been in the past. So we have, like I said, the barbecue fundraiser coming up on the 18th from 11 to 1. And the last one we did was almost 100 hamburgers and 100 hot dogs. So we ask you to put the word out. We have enough for 150. And then I think we're going to plan on doing a bake sale at the same time. And last month we were about $1,200 and some dollars for a couple hours, which was fantastic. And so August, our big thing for August is we have state elections on the 18th, and we're going to have a bake sale in the middle of that. And that's usually really good. I mean, people come in after work, they're hungry. They get bake sale goods on the way out, and they usually spend quite a bit of money. We have a book sale on the 21st and 22nd. So if you're a bookworm, all these are really good books that have been read by people at the senior center, and they go up for sale. It's not super expensive. We do have a book club that meets. So if you're interested in reading and like to do book club type stuff where you read and discuss whether you like the book or you don't, you can come to that. And sometimes that gets pretty heated too. So good chance to, or good time to just interact with people. Let's see, September, we've got the same exercises going on Mondays and Fridays. Book club meetings on the Wednesday, the 2nd of September. And then we got another barbecue fundraiser, probably, we'll see, but I think it's going to be probably our last one for the summer season. And that one's going to be on the 23rd. We're currently looking at about somewhere around $40-some thousand to redo the roof on the senior center. So last year we did our parking lot. I donated a motorcycle that I was hoping the police department was going to get to ride around in the parade, but they didn't win it. But that helped raise funds for a parking lot, and it went over real well. We hit every car show there was in Fairbanks, so every one of those guys bought tickets. But anyway, that's what I have.
Question.
Yes.
My understanding that there's a program out for the elderly to would care themselves or when they pass on, and also to help their memory out in legal stuff.
Right. We have
Still doing that?
Does anybody know Mamie Brown? Okay. Mamie Brown comes over to the senior center and has been doing quite a bit of work on getting your paperwork. If you're everything from retiring to final actions. And that has been very well received. Our next one is in September on the 24th. That's at 1:30. And that's for anybody that's even thinking about retiring or what to do with your money or how to leave it to your kids or your spouse if you happen to go, whatever. It's all covered in that, and it costs absolutely nothing. Okay. The last time we had it, our building was completely jam-packed. So take advantage of it. Anything else?
Can you tell us about your gift shop?
I want my
The
gift shop.
gift
The
shop?
gift shop is in the building. It's operated at between 11 and 3. There is all kinds of things that the members make. So this isn't store-bought stuff. We've got stuff from homemade honey to pickled beets to jewelry to artwork. I mean, it's all over the place. And a lot of people come to North Pole, they hit the Santa Claus house, and then they come right back over to the senior center because they want to get something unique that's made in North Pole to send to people back home.
So just about everything that's in the gift shop is made in North Pole, right?
It is made in North Pole. It is made by somebody at the senior center. And if anybody has any kind of crafting background or whatever, and you feel like bringing something over, bring it on over. You get a percentage back when it sells, and the senior center gets a percentage. Okay?
Any other questions? Well, I've had the pleasure of going to a couple of the luncheons there, and it's just a great group of people. I really enjoy it.
And we have, like this last month, we had one of the churches in North Pole came over and they did the spaghetti dinner over there. And one of the guys, I can't remember the name of the church, but one of the guys made the spaghetti sauce and it was spectacular. I hadn't tried anything like that before. And everybody there was like, wow, this is something else. We've had a gal that is of Mexican heritage that did Mexican food, and it was authentic and it was really good. And that went over really well. And we asked people at the center, because everybody's cooked their entire life. If you have one dish that you're good at, come on over. We'll get you all the help you need to make it. You don't even have to be a member. And just pick a lunch day in the month, and we'll help get it going with you. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Gleanis. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Now it's time for citizens' comments on items not on the agenda. Clerk, would you read the disclaimer, please?
Any person wishing to speak needs to sign up on the list located on the public testimony table. Respectful standards of decorum and courtesy should be observed by all speakers. Remarks should be directed to the council as a body rather than any one member of the council or staff. Comments are limited to 5 minutes.
Good evening. So, as you know, I'm Greg Corbett on the Planning Commission for the borough. So you're a lone representative for North Pole and Salcha. The only thing I had really coming up, we haven't had a whole lot of projects going on in the North Pole area, but we do have the comprehensive plan is going back out around the borough once again for input. And that's going to be here, the next one here in North Pole. And that will be from 5 to 7 over at the library. So they are moving forward. One of the great things I've seen about it already is that we're using it in our decision making for the Planning Commission for the borough, which is kind of nice to see that incorporated with how we're moving forward for the next 25 years. So. But if you have any inputs or thoughts about it, or just want to see where the borough's moving forward, because it encompasses not only Fairbanks, but North Pole, Salcha, the Badger Road area. So what we're doing and how we're going to move forward. Questions for me?
Yeah, one question. They're looking at, I'm assuming, bike paths, right?
That is one of the, yes, walking trail. Well, there's a name for it. I can't think of it, but it's so that it's multi-use paths. But also, yes, bicycle paths, walking paths, and areas to use. And as you know, I mean, last year with the completion of the railroad bridges, we've got the bike path that goes all the way from Fairbanks all the way down here to Badger Road. So that's kind of nice. Hopefully, I know we petitioned several years ago with the new bridge to have a bike path put in and across there, and it was shot down by DOT. Was not available at that time. So we'll see where that goes. And their couple of their comments to us at the time were that, well, where's the bike path going to go? There's no bike path past that, but it's kind of like the bridge to nowhere. You know, if you build it, so that was our thought. And that's kind of my personal thought too. So, yeah, thanks, Betty.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Corbett.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments on items not on the agenda this evening? So please state your name and area of residence.
Shiloh Greenwood. My residence is Salcha, Alaska. My business is Ship Alaska, and I bring this before you tonight because my understanding was it was supposed to be on the agenda for tonight, and then I was asked if it could be on the next council meeting's agenda. Unfortunately, I will not be here. I'm going to be out for a conference. So it was pushed to August 6th. So I'm going to take a few minutes to talk with you about something that's going to be on the agenda for August 6th and give you some time to look into it. I'm going to read that to you. Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, I am writing this letter to inform you of the situation involving my business's owed taxes, why they are late, and the series of events that I experienced prior to the help I recently received from the city's CFO that began to allow me to resolve the issue. At the end, I will state a request and provide some information to the city for their consideration, which after this, I can provide you that as I've said here. In this letter, I will provide context, dates, and events to the best of my recollection. Please see your supporting documents for a more full picture. January of 2026, the business owed 58 cents, and I could not log in to access the account, nor could I make a payment online. I called the city and asked for help, but there was no one available in the office to help. I don't believe I received a call back. February of 2026, the business owed negative 55 cents, essentially a refund from the city. I tried logging in, and again, I couldn't. I called to speak with the city, but I cannot remember what was said at the time with certainty. I do know nothing moved forward towards a solution, causing me to have stress about late payments. Toward the end of February, I spoke with Councilman Brandt about my struggles to pay owed taxes when he came in for a visit. He suggested I email the CFO, who at the time was Tricia Fogarty. She was difficult to get a hold of due to court obligations at that time, jury duty. But we agreed to set up a time for her and a new employee for the city to come to my business to see the problem. They did not actually set up a time to visit and did not show for any meetings or to see the issues I was dealing with. March of 2026, the business owed $6.09 in taxes. I was still unable to log into the program and was under the impression the CFO was coming to visit because she was aware of the issue. There was no actual help from city staff. April of 2026, the business owed $8.77 in taxes. I was still unable to log into the program. The CFO did not make any attempt to follow through with the known problem. May of 2026, the business owed $15.95. This was recently paid after working with the new CFO over several hours to correct issues I had previously brought forward. See the upcoming June 2026 summary for more information. On about May 18th, I went into City Hall to try to get ahead of issues for May and June. I spoke with the new employee who had been hired to replace Sally Church, Kylie Thompson. I was told to forward the emails I had in my care from to previous exchanges to her, as she was unaware of the history of the issues, or that the issues existed at all. I returned to my business and tried to forward them immediately, but emails were not going through. I called Kylie immediately to tell her about it, and she suggested trying again, which I did. The emails continued to not go through. I learned later the city's email system was down. I don't believe the emails ever went through to her. June of 2026, at about this time, I spoke with Councilman Brandt again about the ongoing issues paying taxes to the city. He put me in touch with the new CFO, Will Hallrick, and I was able to, I think that's how he says it, I was able to explain the ongoing situation to him. Thankfully, he comprehended the issues, and I was able to demonstrate to him what I was dealing with during an in-person meeting we had before my business's open hours. Because of his follow-through, I was able to finally log into the system and begin addressing the owed taxes. On June 17th, I was able to pay the owed taxes for May 2026 without a late fee. It was during this encounter with CFO Hallrick when I learned the initial setup for my portal access had been initiated wrong at the city level and was no fault of my own. Looking back to August of 2025, this last section is out of order, but the previous paragraph should provide context. Our business obtained its city tax account in August of 2025, but it had no income. As we were setting up and building out, along with signing the lease, we opened our doors to the public in September of 2025. I was advised in September of 2025 by one of the office staff. When I called in about it, I don't recall the staff member's name, that because I had owed no taxes for the month of August, I should not worry about it. Nothing needed to be done by me. When I was able to log in this last week after meeting with CFO Hallrick in June of 2026, I looked and found $0 due in taxes for August of 2025, but a $50 fine for not telling the city I didn't owe anything. In all ways, I was proactive in trying to communicate with the city and address the problems with tax payments. I just could not get any traction to solve the problem. Here is my summary and request from the city of North Pole. My business took reasonable proactive steps to solve a problem it was aware of from early on in our existence. I acted in good faith in the entirety of the process, trying to pay owed taxes from sales in my store that met the requirement for taxation. It was an unnecessarily difficult task that cost me wasted hours upon more wasted hours. The frustration was compounded when I saw the penalties added up to outsized bills for taxes I tried to pay because they were owed, and I try to follow the rules. My request is for the city of North Pole to allow me to pay the full taxes assessed, which, as of today, they have been paid by the goods sold that meet taxation requirements,
Give you 2 more minutes.
and waive the fees and fines for back taxes. As of June 20th, 2026, the total taxes owed are $14.89, which, again, as I stated, have been paid. As of June 20, 2026, the total additional fees and fines on top of taxes are $3.99.45. Finally, a note of concern for the city to consider. I have taken extreme measures to secure my internet-based systems at my office. I have a person managing my security and network setup that has experience working in Fortune 100 organizations at high levels of information security management. This is due to the plans of our shop to host services that go through the State Department and other government entities, as well as the fact that we house personal identifying information in our current business. Because of credit card use, we also have to be payment card industry compliant. Here's what I've learned about the Express Bill Pay system. It uses the least secure web browsers for taxpayers to log in and use the system. In our regular business, we use a more secure browser, Brave. However, we are reduced to using Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome to log into Express Bill Pay, both of which have vulnerabilities known to many with ill intent. I encourage the city to consider looking into any potential problems that may arise from these less secure browser requirements, as we do not want the city to have a problem if the PII of taxpayers gets released. Thank you for your time in considering this matter.
Any questions? So from what I understand, you cannot log into Express Bill Pay unless you go out of your secure browser and into a less secure browser. Is that?
That is correct.
Hi, welcome back. As far as this whole sale tax things goes, I was just looking at the final number you had said, despite all the efforts on your behalf, just want to make sure that you said the latest bill was for $399 and some cents because of late fees, et cetera, that you, and from listening to you, it doesn't seem you should have incurred. Did the city offer a solution so far that you're aware of?
No. I have not heard from the city in any matter. All I got was a phone call asking if I could make a different day for the city council meeting.
What would you propose as a solution?
I walked in with a check for July sales tax. And I admit I was tired that day. I had miscalculated. There is no document unless you log into Express Bill Pay on the state or on the city website. There is nothing. And that day that I walked in, I was exhausted and I was tired. I'd miscalculated by I think 50 cents. When I asked for the form, staff was busy with a new computer. Forms should be available either online on the city website or available on the wall in City Hall. If forms are available for someone to be able to use, and if the city's able to take all forms of payment as they should, being city government, those forms should be available. We shouldn't have to log into Express Bill Pay. Okay. I'm doing my due diligence. I've done everything I possibly could.
I believe I was there when our CFO had mentioned that that the city is able to and willing to receive all forms of payment. And I think at one point you had even offered cash at one point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yes, and that check, I did check, that check has actually been cashed already. So I know that those taxes have been paid. I came in from the month of June and the beginning of July before the holiday to make sure that those were paid.
So keeping other businesses in mind here in the city of North Pole, what kind of an example do you think your experience sets with the city for other business owners?
As a new business, I'll be honest, I would have chosen to do business outside of the city. I'm disappointed. I'm highly disappointed. I wouldn't tell anyone to start a business in the city of North Pole. To be treated like that as a business, to bring a problem to the city and ask for help by city staff, or to be forgotten with what is going on. The things that I've seen within the city staff in the office, or to ask for help, or to not know how to do something, or to spend an entire hour of my time when I could have been doing something that involves my business that the city should have been able to get done properly the first time. It's highly frustrating. I spent a lot of time on this. It's time that I could have spent doing other things. That's highly frustrating. Highly frustrating. It's been suggested I could build a city. It's been very much suggested I could build a city. Or $14.89.
Well, as a council member, I would like to apologize for the experience you had with the city.
Are there any questions? Well, I apologize for everything that you've been through, and not an excuse, but we have had a lot of turnover in City Hall, and that has contributed to it. But that's still no excuse, and I apologize.
Accepted. Thank you.
So before, as of right now, you don't anything.
And unless the late fees and the whatever else that was there, it was the fees and fines. All taxes are up to date.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Greenwood. Or any other citizens' comments this evening? Seeing none. For approval of the agenda and consent agenda.
Second. I'm sorry.
Need a motion.
Move to approve the agenda and consent agenda for this evening's meeting.
Second.
I would like to amend the agenda to restore item 13F to the agenda for this evening.
Second.
Actually, it doesn't require a second.
second.
It's one council member can pull anything from the consent agenda. I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda. Just one moment.
From what I understand, I just received a city council memorandum with the subject of stormwater retention basin and an estimate to add to the agenda. Our city code 2.12.030K. Looks like it allows it, but there might be questions with Title 29. Is that correct?
I should have,
Title 29 is the Alaska's title that controls municipalities, home
Right.
rule charters, and all that, and sets requirements for public notice, as does OMA have public notice requirements. And I don't believe that adding something to the agenda the night of the meeting meets OMA requirements or the requirements under Title 29.
if you could point to that, then I will accept that, but
I don't have
I'm
the-
just going by code. what
I don't have the
code allows
specific
us to
statute
do.
in front of me, so
Okay.
we would have to take a break to be able to look it up. I don't know
Okay,
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Would you like to take a break? I'd be happy to if you want to.
I mean, if you want the exact code, then sure, let's take a break.
Okay, 5-minute break.
I have Title 29 pulled up.
I'd like to make a motion to add a memorandum concerning the stormwater retention basin to new business.
Second.
So for the staff report on this, there's a stormwater retention basin
This
on
is
that.
just the amendment to the,
Oh, right. Okay. So we just take a vote on it then.
there's no discussion, yes. I'll
Okay.
put my objections on the record. I don't believe that this is legal. Public meeting notice requires reasonable notice for the public to be involved and to have a say in what the city's doing. According to the paperwork that you've given us, this is $23,000 of taxpayer money that you're trying to spend with no notice to the taxpayers whatsoever. I'm strongly against doing this the day of. And I will note also that when we made the amendments that we did to the way that notice is given of our agendas, you wanted this provision that you're using now removed, and that was voted down, but you were against it at the time.
Okay. Any other comments? Take the roll. Oh,
On the amendment to add the memo, stormwater retention basin to the agenda under new business. Mr. Skips,
No.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
No.
that passed 4-2.
I'd like to move to amend the agenda and move item 13E, request of council outfall relocation design permitting scope and fee to the consent agenda.
Second.
Discussion. Roll. Do we have any citizens' comments on this?
Comments on the prior one.
I don't, she just told me to, I'm sorry. So. Okay, any council discussion? Call the roll.
On the motion to consent, item E, request to council respect outfall relocation design permitting scope and fee. Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Skips, Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
that passed 6-0.
Are there any other amendments? Call the roll to approve the agenda and consent agenda as amended.
On the agenda and consent agenda as amended, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
No.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
No.
that passed 4-2.
Okay, next item is communications from the mayor. I don't think anybody came here to hear me talk, so let's get to council member questions of the mayor. Hearing none. Communication from department heads, borough representatives, and the city clerk. Do we have a borough representative?
Yes. So I was at the last regular borough meeting that occurred. At it, came up an issue that they needed additional funding to fix the pool, Hamming Pool or Westcott Pool, because when they were doing the maintenance that had already been budgeted for, they found some additional failed concrete. So it increased the budget. So they approved that. But as part of that, it also means that the pool now will not open till sometime in November. So that's going to continue doing the work on that. There also became an issue as to the lease at the Carlson Center and the lease that the Nanics hold and the cost of that. As most I guess may or may not be aware, the Carlson Center typically is a loss to the borough every year. And we basically, as taxpayers, are floating that. So there was discussion about increasing the cost to that, and that got continued to the next meeting. So that'll be up again on July 23rd to discuss how they want to move forward with that to deal with the deficit that occurs for the Carlson Center. But that was about it that occurred at the last regular meeting.
Any questions? Keith Smith?
Good to see all of you. I'll be as brief as I can. Things are rolling out well at the police department this summer. We have exceeded our canine funding goal, so that's exciting. Sergeant Briganti's currently in Ohio training with the dog as we speak, and they'll be back in several weeks to go live with that program. I'd ask the public to be aware that we will be out there looking for DUIs. We had 11 of them in June, which is pretty high for a small town like ours. So folks need to make sure they're driving safe, and there's lots of options available. I'd even say if you need help or assistance from the police department making a wise choice regarding how you drive, give us a call. We'll help you out if we can. Other than that, we had good attendance at the 4th of July parade. Only had a couple small incidents occur during the parade that we were able to resolve pretty swiftly. But we were thankful to see all the people come out for that. And then we will be having on August 8th this year will be the Fallen Heroes Memorial. So just mark your calendars for that. That'll be at 11 a.m. over at the Memorial Park to recognize all fallen borough employees, military members, folks like that have died in the line of duty. I'll take any questions you might have. That's the end of my update.
Go ahead.
I do have a question. Last meeting, we were approving some insurance. Our insurance for the upcoming year in the police departments went from 25,000 to 50,000, and Councilmember Claus asked the question, was that because of the dog, the canine? I think the clerk had said that a year back or 2 years back, it was 100. And to my recollection, at a meeting before, you said that you checked with insurance and it would be no adjustment. That number is kind of in flux. Is that correct?
It is because it's based on national trends. So we've seen it swing wildly up and down year to year. And quite frankly, there isn't a whole lot of rhyme or reason to why that's occurring. I can definitively tell you that didn't occur because of the canine. I have it in writing from the insurance company that it was not going to affect that. So it's lower than it was 2 years ago, I think it was.
Can you tell us what that does cover? What that part of the insurance does cover?
The part he's referring to, it's just
The
police liability insurance. So it's all the things associated with the more high risk aspects of our job. That can be pretty comprehensive based on the situation. But as to like the actual dollar amount coverages, off the top of my head, I couldn't answer that for you right here. But
I'm just curious what incidences or whatever it would, what does the insurance cover, not the dollar amount?
it covers potential liability to the police department arising from some type of dynamic situation that involves injury, loss of life, those types of things. Coverage to the community and also the police officers as well.
And off the top of your head, you don't know what the coverage is?
A dollar amount?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I do recall talking to you last year about possibly raising the limit of our liability insurance in light of what Fairbanks is going through right now.
Hmm.
We did not have that discussion with the insurance company.
I have not raised it. No, no.
Any other questions? I do have one more question. Do you know where we're at with our dispatch contract that we're now out of contract with them?
As far as I know, well, it's a little bit in flux because the supervisor, they're going through some turnover there over there as well. So, I can certainly check the current status and get back to you by email if you'd like. But as far as I know, we're good. They're in that leg or window period between the contract and us actually paying it. Last year, my first experience with it, there was a bit of a gap over the summer before the money was actually billed to the city of North Pole. So it hasn't been billed to us yet.
I just recall that we signed a 6-month extension or a 6-month contract to get us to a fiscal year with them since they're on since a borough is on a fiscal year and that's their biggest client. So that would mean that we're currently out of contract, and I was just wondering.
And they're also trying to do what's it called?
Oh,
A service
business.
study. They're trying to redo a business model. They're trying to redo their business model. And so that's going to require some time studies and things that might take a little bit of extra time. But having just lost the primary point of contact over there, it's going to be a little bit up in the air on the dispatch side until they're able to find someone to fill that role.
Okay. Any other questions for Chief Smith? Ms. Kimmel?
I just have a couple things. I want to remind everybody that candidate filing is coming up July 15th through the 29th for our 2 open council seats. And then I wanted to talk about the loss control incentive program that the city participates in through our insurance. We just received a check back to go against our premiums for over $26,000. It looks like $26,000 and $26,006. That's up from last year. We received $5,000. When it went to APRA from AMLJIA, they made their program more robust. So our employees have been doing quite a bit more training this year to get that refund. They had to participate in safety and work comp training and liability training. We did inspections on all the buildings and formed a safety committee to get us to just about the max allowed. So shout out to all the city employees for all their hard work and their training. And that's all I have.
Are there any questions for Ms. Kimmel? Councilmember Claus.
Thanks. Just had a quick question. As far as the training to reduce the premiums and stuff like that, is there any program that the city council members can participate in that would also reduce some of the cost?
I'm not sure if it would reduce the cost, but I can sure make the training available to all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is ongoing projects reports. Don't have any of those this evening. Item 12, unfinished business. 12A, Resolution 2026-08, City Manager form of government. Get a motion to approve.
Move to approve Resolution 2026-08, City Manager form of government postponed from the June 15th regular meeting.
Staff report on that? Clause or?
Since we're bringing this back up, and thanks everybody for your patience regarding this, there was even an article in the News Miner recently about this subject. I went ahead and did a little more research on it in addition to what I'd mentioned about setting up some town hall discussions and presentations about the subject. In the meantime, since there is a deadline for getting anything on the ballot, this next go around for October, I went ahead and put together an amendment that I would like to read to you all. But I might
This is
have
just
to
a
wait.
staff report now.
Yeah, okay. Well, the staff report, my amendment addresses certain things that were raised at the last meeting that I've tried to address, to make a long story short.
Any public testimony on this item? And council discussion? I would like to make a motion to amend strike line 15 and line 16. And insert, shall the city of North Pole adopt a council manager form of government, making the mayor's role primarily ceremonial and legislative, authorizing the city council to appoint a professional city manager and assigning responsibility for the city's day-to-day administration and personnel management to the city manager.
Second.
Get a written copy of that amendment because I can't follow that.
Any public testimony on that? Okay. So with the email from the attorney, said that we could insert language into the ballot question that better describes what the city manager plan of government will do. And so what this does is it changes the wording to say that the mayor's role would primarily be ceremonial and legislative, and that we would be assigning responsibility for the city's day-to-day administration and personnel management to the city manager. So this will, I hope, make it clearer to the public that we will still have a mayor, we will still have a council, and that the city manager would strictly be doing the day-to-day manager's duties running the city, administration and personnel management. Any other discussion on the amendment?
I think the amendment is a good idea. Thank you.
So does this make it legally conforming? Because I know under the current language in 15 and 16, it's not legal under what our requirements are in charter for effective date of the switch from the mayor form of government to manager form of government.
Correct. What our city attorney said was that under our charter, the city manager or under Title 29, the city manager form of government, the plan has to be implemented within 60 days. The plan itself, after the way I understand it, after the vote, if it is approved, we don't have to have the manager hired within 60 days. We just need to be moving forward with switching over to the city manager form of government. There's certain things in our code of ordinances that would have to be changed, and that would give us time to do that, and then advertise and hire. But that was the attorney's main concern, was that the language here said the plan would be implemented upon the conclusion of the current mayor's term of office, and that is not legal under Title 29. The implementation has to begin.
And along those lines, if you go back to Alaska Statute 292520, that specifies the governing body. That's us, the City of North Pole Council. shall enact provisions for the reorganization of the municipal executive and administrative functions. So we have the right and ability to do that. And also in Alaska Statute 2920, 620 specifies the governing body of the City of North Pole Council shall by ordinance provide a method of determining the salaries of elected officials. So we have all the tools at our disposal if we want to implement this, assuming, depending on how the registered voters here are not outsiders, but people who actually live in the city of North Pole and vote in North Pole would like to proceed, if they would like to proceed. So if they do happen to approve this particular city manager form of government, the changes that Councilman Brandt just mentioned before would be addressed, and we already have it in our code and also in the Alaska statutes. We have the ability to do it in a pretty clear fashion without excluding anybody's vote or anybody's preference.
And again, I just wanted to reiterate that this would obviously not be changing our form of governance, just putting the question to the voters whether the voters want to change. So this amendment here is just changing the language of the ballot language. Any other discussion on the amendment or the change to the?
I mentioned the
No, that's the amendment that I made. Any other discussions on that? Do you take the roll?
On the amendment for Resolution 2026-08 to strike lines 15 and 16 and insert, shall the City of North Pole adopt the council manager form of government, making the mayor's role primarily ceremonial and legislative, authorizing the city council to appoint a professional city manager and assigning responsibility for the city's day-to-day administration and personnel management to the city manager. Mr. Claus.
yes.
Ms. Rolfe.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Brandt.
Yes.
Mr. Skips.
Yes.
Mr. Schuster.
Yes.
That passed 6-0.
Okay. Back to the main resolution. Any other council discussion? Skips?
Has anybody done a average of what an annual salary for a city manager is?
I have not. I've looked, and there was discussion at the last meeting that it could cost $120,000 a year for a city manager. I personally looked up and saw what we were paying across the state. And it's anywhere from 50,000 up to 160,000. That's what I was able to see. But the higher paid ones were, in remote cities, where the cost of living is a lot higher anyway, plus where they have schools and libraries and all that kind of stuff that they have to manage that the borough does for us. So again, police, fire, public works, that's all we are in the city of North Pole. Currently, I would say, currently our mayor is taking in around $80,000 a year. If we had to pay somebody $20,000, $40,000 a year more to come into the job with experience, I think it's well worth it. All of our department heads make around that much. We are currently, like I've said before, basically a $10 million a year business with over 50 employees, plus a utility company. When we have a new mayor come in with zero experience managing people, budgets, anything like that, problems do occur. This would just be hiring a manager to run the day-to-day business of the city. All the legislative powers, all the ceremonial powers would still be with the mayor. The council would still, we would still have a council to do, again, all the legislative. The council can direct the manager, the council as a whole, all 7 elected members of the council can direct the manager, whereas currently we cannot do that with the form of government that we have. So I see a lot of positives for it. Personally, I don't see any downsides to it, especially considering the small pool of qualified people that we have in the city limits to run a multi-million-dollar business. That like I said, I personally don't see any downsides to it. Are there any other discussion?
I'm wondering if there's been any conversations with recruiters or anything as to what the likelihood of getting qualified applicants would be, or what the idea would be of how long it might take to hire for a city manager form of government. I know that there are a lot of cities in Alaska that have this form of government. Have there been any conversations with those municipalities of what their hiring process has looked like, how long it's taken to fill openings or anything like that?
No, again, like I said before, we don't necessarily need somebody with city manager experience to run North Pole. We just need somebody with managerial experience. Anybody that's familiar with managing people and doing budgets, and I would like to see somebody that has experience with grants, things like that. So I have not done that research. And again, this question is just whether or not we want to put this to the voters, not whether or not we want to do it ourselves.
Right, but if the voters come back and ask the questions of what will this cost the city? How long will this take to hire? What does city manager look like? What would their qualifications be? What would a job posting for that be? We can't currently answer any of that.
Oh, but if we pass this tonight, we have until election time to look into all that. If we don't pass this tonight, it's not worth wasting time to look into all that. But we have plenty of time between now and election time to answer all those questions, have meetings with the public, get the public involved. But again, it doesn't make sense to waste our time doing that now if this doesn't pass this evening. So we have until October to get answers to all of those questions.
So, so on that, that's one of the reasons why we plan to have several town halls to discuss all that and get the public's feedback, the people who are voting here, who live here, to see. We'd make a presentation saying pros, cons, et cetera, get their feedback, and then, like you mentioned, several different points of interest, whether it's the salaries or whatever else might come up. That's where the town halls come in to answer all that, because there's plenty of time between now and the time people would be voting on this for anybody to have their input. Because we have, after the election, let's say if it goes through and people approve it, we have quite a bit of time after the election to implement this. The current mayor would serve out their.
We have to implement within 60 days, starting the implementation. We can't necessarily
so what you
wait a
mean.
year before we hire. It wouldn't mean that the current mayor would finish out their term. At least that's my understanding.
My understanding is the current mayor would finish out their term, and giving us enough time to identify an appropriate manager and hire them, or at least make an offer to them and move forward, which is, gets to the point you said there has to be some movement within the, first couple of months or so, showing that we're heading in that particular direction. If the residents here would like to explore and have a city manager form of government with a mayor, and the rest of it. So we're not trying to ace anybody out, proposed or current or past for that matter, from this process. We'd like the citizens here who are paying taxes and stuff and would like us to be responsible for how we're moving forward and how we're spending the city's money and what they're getting for it. We've heard a couple of people recently who've had interesting experiences, not necessarily to their benefit. And I would like to see the public have their input and be able to vote on this. I think it'd be great for the city myself.
Ready, Mr. Schuster?
Yeah, who would run these town halls?
I could help run some of them, and it depends on who wants to undertake the research. I'll do some of the research. There are a couple other council people who expressed an interest in doing some of the research.
My concern would be that you're obviously in favor of this and you're the one running the town halls. And so how unbiased and informative could you make those meetings without pushing the agenda? Because it should be an
It
unbiased.
should be unbiased, and I think I'm glad if I can crosstalk with us, all right, with you, Mayor Pro Tem. Like the fast meetings we have here for the borough, they have a particular agenda they would like to pursue, and they'll put up whatever the information is in a relatively unbiased way, and people can ask questions about it. And the feedback that the fast people get influences how their next presentation goes, so that everybody tends to get on the same page. Some of their stuff goes through, some of it doesn't. But they're the ones presenting it based on their experience at the time, and that probably evolves. So some of it's really turns out well, some of it might not be what they expected. And I think the same thing may happen with the city manager form of government, maybe things that come up that will be great for the city. And there may have been some things that pop up that might be unintended consequences or whatever. But until the voters have a chance to review some of this stuff, whether I present it or somebody else presents it, with citations on where this came from, like who we might have spoken to, like Councilwoman Rolf's comments about who's going to, come up with this stuff, whether it happens to be statutes or if it happens to be our code or if it happens to be managers elsewhere here in the state of Alaska or outside, or the recruiters, et cetera. All that comes out during the town hall meetings. But as Mayor Pro Tem Brandt had mentioned, to go through all of that stuff, we want to make sure that at least our council is interested in exploring it and moving this forward to some degree. If it doesn't go through, if the voters don't like it, they're not going to vote for it. If they do like it, they'll vote for it. And all of us have an opportunity to have input, whether it's a town hall or the newspaper or whatever, to express our particular views, so that the general public and also the voters here have a pretty balanced view of what they'll be voting on, the pros, most likely.
Other discussion?
So I guess my concern still stands. The concern is there's been, I'd say at least a month since this first came before council, and putting it to the vote the first time was voted down because answers to questions couldn't be given. We're now 3 months out from the election. We still have none of those answers. What would it cost the city? What are qualifications that we're looking for? What is this timeline for hiring? We don't have any of that. If what you say is true, and I'm not doubting you, you could be very much right that the mayor serves out his term, so no hire would take place until October of 2027. Why are we rushing this to get on the ballot now if we've got time to do it at another point? Because the issue becomes, when we have a town hall, what time is there to do the research and get the information between now and whenever the town hall is going to be scheduled? There are none scheduled currently. We're 3 months out from the election. It takes time to get all of this information and to have an idea of what do we want of manager, what are the requirements for them to be hired? I understand that the council is the one who will do the interviews and do the hiring of them. But as a whole, what are the qualifications that we're looking for? Because I think that the qualifications that just the council sitting here believes are necessary for a manager are widely different. Because I believe that they need more than a general manager background to be able to manage a city. There's a lot of things that go into it, and an understanding of politics that you need to have in order to be able to run a city. Because although it's not to be a political position, you have to be political for any position that's inside of a city. It's just the way that it is. None of the answers have happened. There's been no conversations with city residents that I'm aware of as to whether there's even an interest for this. The few who have spoken when this has come up have spoken heavily against it. So I guess I don't understand why we're rushing if they couldn't be hired until 2027 anyways.
I do want to clarify that the mayor would serve out the rest of his term. His duties would change because once the city manager is hired, then the city manager would do the daily, managing of the city. So while the mayor does serve out the rest of his term, he would not be doing the same duties. The way that I understand it, within 60 days, we have to implement the plan. We do not necessarily have to have the person hired within the 60 days. But we cannot wait until the following year to implement the plan. And as far as answering all the questions and everything, all we're doing is asking the voters whether or not they want to change their form of government. When you say that city manager requires a lot more experience than I'm saying they do, we have mayors that come in with zero experience and run the city. So if we hire a manager that ran a Taco Bell, that's more experience than we have with some of the mayors that have taken over and run the city. So I just think that we should allow the voters to decide, and that's all this is asking for. Call the roll.
On Resolution 2026-08, City Manager Form of Government as amended, Mr. Schuster,
No.
Ms. Rolfe,
No.
Mr. Skips,
No.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt.
Yes.
That failed 3-3.
Okay, item 12B, ordinance 2026-12. Can I get a motion?
Move to introduce ordinance 2026-12 categories of employees.
Second, Skips.
Staff report, Ms. Kimmel.
This was an ordinance just to add some clarity to categories of employees. It was amended last meeting to define full-time as regularly scheduled for a minimum of 40 hours per week.
Is there any public testimony? Council discussion. Make an amendment between lines 52 and 53. I would like to insert participation in the city's healthcare plan shall be extended to all employees who meet the definition of a full-time employee under applicable federal healthcare mandates.
Second.
Public testimony on this. Okay, apparently under the Affordable Care Act, any employer that has more than 50 employees must offer healthcare to employees with who are regularly scheduled for 30 or more hours a week. So this just clarifies that we will comply with any applicable federal healthcare mandates. Any
One more time.
Participation in the city's healthcare plan shall be extended to all employees who meet the definition of a full-time employee under applicable federal healthcare mandates. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Get a question. In this one, so a full-time person gets 40 hours, right?
Correct.
Anything under that is not full-time. So a person wouldn't get benefit, right?
According to the Affordable Care Act, any employer with more than 50 employees has to offer healthcare to employees who regularly work 30 hours a week or more. We currently have 51 employees. I recommended we just fire somebody, but that did not go over that well. So I'm making this amendment instead. Call the roll, please.
The amendment to ordinance 2026-12. Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe.
Yes.
That passed 6-0.
And as for the ordinance as amended,
On ordinance 2026-12, categories of employees as amended, Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe.
Yes.
That passed 6-0.
Okay, on to item 12C, ordinance 2026-13. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2026-13, insurance and disability benefits.
Second Skips.
Ms. Kimmel, the staff report.
This was also to add some clarification to code to add full-time instead of permanent for the medical and hospital insurance and disability benefits.
Is there any public testimony on this ordinance? Council discussion? I'd like to make a amendment to this one also. Between lines 28 and 29, insert the same language. which would read, participation in the city's healthcare plan shall be extended to all employees who meet the definition of a full-time employee under applicable federal healthcare mandates.
Second.
Any public testimony on this amendment? Council discussion? Call the roll, please.
The amendment to ordinance 2026-13. Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster.
Yes.
That passed 6-0.
Any more discussion on the ordinance as amended? Call the roll.
On the approval of ordinance 2026-13, insurance and disability benefits as amended. Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe.
Yes.
That passed 6-0.
Okay, on to item 12D, ordinance 2026-14. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2026-14, employee misconduct.
Second, Skips.
And Ms. Kimmel for the staff report.
This ordinance just basically removes Work Shield from our code of ordinances, as our contract with Work Shield is up the end of June, or I guess is expired, and they did not want to continue services with the city of North Pole.
Any public testimony on this ordinance? Council discussion? Any questions? The roll.
On ordinance 2026-14, workplace misconduct, Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe.
Yes.
That passed 6-0.
On to new business. Item 13A, ordinance 2026-15. Can I get a motion?
Can we take a 5-minute break? To suspend the rules for 5 minutes?
And the rules for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Well, since we don't.
Staff report.
So do I still need a first and second motion to postpone?
And
Moving on to new business. Item 13A, ordinance 2026-15. Can I get a motion?
I move to postpone ordinance 2026-15 budget adjustment to our next regularly scheduled meeting on 20th, July 20th.
Second,
I requested this be postponed. The sponsor of the ordinance is not here, nor is somebody to give a presentation as to what the budget adjustments are for. There should be both at the next meeting.
Discussion? Motion was to postpone.
No public
We do public test.
comment.
Or anybody who'd like to, any public testimony on this? The roll, please.
The motion to postpone ordinance 2026-15 budget adjustment.
I think the chief has a comment.
It's my budget adjustment for the police department, so I'm here.
Are you prepared for staff report?
Yeah,
Okay, then I would,
So
then I would move to advance or withdraw my previous motion.
this is, it says for the sewer department budget though.
on
No.
there.
As Chief Smith
Police and sewer department.
and sewer department. But if he can give the majority of the information.
There's,
There's a memo for the sewer
Yeah.
department in here.
Right. Okay, would you like to move forward with this then?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to change the motion then.
So I withdraw my prior motion.
second,
Then I would move to advance ordinance 2026-15 budget adjustment.
second,
Staff report.
This is just to cover the overage from the massive increase we saw to the cost of heating fuel and gasoline. That's all. I didn't anticipate a war with Iraq when I budgeted. Sorry. So I calculated what I believe will be needed for the rest of this year. In the 1 year of experience I have prior to this, we tried to only do like one mid-year adjustment around July. And so that's kind of what I was shooting for, is just wait till the July meeting to put that on. So I do think that'll get us through the end of the year on those two things.
Any public testimony on this? Council discussion? You know about where we're sitting for heating fuel and gas and oil currently?
I could tell you exactly in a second.
What was budgeted and how much we have left? Off the top of your head, do you have a rough estimate?
I'm getting, formatting is great. Heating fuel, we have 4,478 left. I budgeted 17,000. So we burned through 12,357. And then gas. Vehicle gas and oil, we're at 19,540. Original budget was 40,000, so we've used 23,385.
Any other questions for Chief Smith? Thank you. Would call the roll?
On ordinance 2026-15 budget adjustment, Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
That passed 6-0.
Item 13B, ordinance 2026-16. Can I get a motion?
Motion to advance ordinance 2026-16. Please.
Second.
Staff report.
I can do this one. So this came up after the recent issues that have been occurring with the Economic Development Committee. They do meet regularly. However, their next meeting, for their third meeting that they've been on 3 different days at 3 different times, and it's not how we get public engagement. So this came forward to require meetings be held during certain blocks of time and advance notice of the agenda and what's going to be on it is a requirement for this. It also modifies how our committees are made up and will set forth a application that'll go up on the city website so that those who live within the city who are interested in serving on a committee can submit an application stating their interest in being involved in local government.
Okay, thank you. Is there any public testimony on this? State your name and area of residence.
Name's Adam Rolfe. I live in Lake Drive. I do want to thank the council for considering this. I think this is a good step forward for government transparency. Guys made the step forward with all the council meetings, and this makes it cover every committee meeting, which I do appreciate. Yeah, I think this is a good thing. I think it's a win.
Any questions for Ms. Rolfe? Okay, thank you. Any other public testimony on this ordinance? Council discussion? Smith?
Is this appropriate for me to ask a question here? It may have been covered, but my concern upon reading this ordinance was when we do the Memorial Park Committee, almost every time we're discussing pretty confidential, private details about the end of somebody's life to ascertain whether they meet the criteria for inclusion on the Memorial Park wall. To me, that seems very problematic to have publicly posted. I think if that was the case, we'd be forced to just not have that committee if it was required to be public, because we do go into pretty great detail about what happened to these folks and their families and the story surrounding their death. So that was a concern. that I was reading through it. The other part that was a little concerning to me was under K, kilo. Um, if I'm a city employee doing a task associated with my employee, it's required that I be compensated for that. So if I'm on a committee as a city employee, you can't not compensate me for that unless you run aground on federal labor law. So I don't know what the resolution to that is. I'm assuming this is targeting special payment to someone just for serving on a committee, not so much a city employee, but I just wanted you to be aware that that's what it looks like to me is you're not going to pay a city employee for their time if they happen to be on one of those committees. So things I had.
So I will say to that, the committees are all voluntary. If a city employee wishes to be on a committee, that should be in their own personal time. If you're mandated to be on a committee, that's different, of course. But the Memorial Park Committee, for instance, that's not mandated in our code that you attend that. If you wish to participate in that as a private citizen, you happen to be an employee, but as a member of the committee, you would be serving on the committee as a private citizen. Like I said, if you're mandated as a city employee to attend the meeting, that would be different. So I'm sorry, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Pardon? Staff.
Yes.
Please.
Regarding K, the department heads, I think, are currently appointed to the Total Compensation Committee. And I think they're appointed by the mayor, their supervisor, and they're asked to bring their expertise on their budget, their department, their experience to the meeting. So I think that could be a violation of FSLA laws, that we can't ask public employees to volunteer for duties that they are regularly paid for.
That's kind of my point with the Memorial Park. The only reason I'm on that committee is because of my law enforcement background and expertise. That's it.
But for that committee in particular, and I'm not arguing with you about this, but that committee in particular, if you were retired, like if Chief Dutra wanted to be on there, he's on there because of his expertise also. You're volunteering your time to be on that particular committee. Now, the Total Compensation Committee, I agree, that is problematic. That.
So I have a question for the chief as to the Memorial Park Committee that you're on. You're appointed to that based on the fact that you're the chief of police.
I would need to go research like it's different than the total compensation,
Right.
right? Where you're appointed to it. But it's the situation where the police department spearheaded the creation of the park. And so we're intrinsically forever linked to that. And so I am, as the chief of police, forever linked to that approval process for people going on the wall.
Is there specific criteria somewhere that sets out who's placed on the wall?
Yeah, we have a policy document that we essentially evaluate the application against the policy document, and then the committee can make a determination. It's fairly flexible in the sense of, since it's such a sensitive topic, we want to be very flexible in making sure we're doing right by people that apply. As an example, we amended something recently that, the rules stated we have to have the approval of a family member. Well, in some cases, there literally is no family member left, and so just trying to figure out the most equitable way to do this evaluation. But yeah, I'm kind of linked with it.
Mr. Schuster.
I would just like to make an amendment. On line 59, I would like it to read, all committee meetings except confidential ethics and Memorial Park shall be recorded and live streamed. Memorial Park meetings.
Second.
There, public testimony on that amendment?
Adam Rolfe, I live on Lake Drive. More question, can committees do executive sessions?
Ethics committees can do executive sessions because the way that our ethics committee is created. not-
Technically, it's a board, the ethics board,
Not its
but,
committee under our rules. I
oh,
looked-
is it?
That's why it's in here.
Okay.
I believe that they can. However, that would limit who can participate in it if it became, I assume you're talking about the addition that was just made of adding the Memorial Park, making it a confidential section would limit who could participate in it. In the actual discussion that's going to occur, and it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate to have the family member part of any session because
But executive sessions can also have witnesses, can't they?
the staff, not typically general public.
From the transparency side, I would like to see if there's a way to do the confidentiality via kind of like an executive session where the public is excluded. But when they come back and have something to vote on, then that would be open to the public, not just exclude the public outright from that committee. I get there's confidentiality and I want to respect that as well, but I still think governmental process should be transparent as possible.
Any other questions from Mr. Rolfe?
Just to clarify, this park was funded by the community, and currently all funds that are being used to purchase the plaques for the park are community donated funds. They're not city funds. So it's really a community initiative, community pool of money that's being managed by some members of the committee. To my knowledge, I don't believe we're required to have a committee. To my knowledge, I think I could decide unilaterally who's going to go on the wall or not. When we created it, we just thought it would be a good idea to have several people have a hand in that and make that evaluation. So I get the transparency side of it, but we're going to do a ceremony this summer and you're going to find out when I declare publicly in front of whoever shows up, these are the people that are on the wall. I mean, that's fairly transparent in my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have you sign in and then just state your name and area of residence.
Sure, I'm Viscon. I live off Nelson. So I don't live in city limits, but I was looking at this ordinance and line 55 says you must be a City of North Pole resident.
I'm sorry, the time for comments on the amendment that we just made, not any
Okay.
other part of the ordinance.
Can you remind me what the number 59 was that we were amending?
Councilman Schuster recommending adding the Memorial Park Committee to the confidential So it shall not be recorded and live streamed.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Also, just for your notice, this is a first reading. This will come back on our July 20th meeting.
Any other discussion on the amendment? Call the roll.
The amendment to amend ordinance 2026-16 committees by inserting Memorial Park meetings after ethics on line 59. Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
I pass 6-0.
Other discussion on the ordinance? As call the roll on the ordinance as amended.
Ordinance 2026-16 committees as amended. Mr. Skips, Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
No.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe.
Yes.
Pass 5-1.
Okay, item 13C, resolution 2026-11. Motion.
Move to introduce resolution 2026-11, authorizing transfer of trademark.
Second, Skips.
Staff report. Um, So as we all know, at the last meeting, the ordinance was amended, and the mayor said the next day he would give permission to a certain business and the Chamber of Commerce to use a trademark. Every single member of council went to that, every single member but one, and her mother went to that business and asked whether or not they got the letter, and to nobody's surprise, they did not. So this will just once and for all transfer the trademark to the chamber. Is there any public testimony on this item? So, state your name again.
I'm Mavis Khan. I'm a director on the North Pole Community Chamber of Commerce, and I live off Nelson Road. First, I want to thank everyone who helped with the parade this weekend. Forgot to tell you guys that. But I have a letter from Howard, who is our treasurer and has been heavily involved in our assistance with this. I'd like to read it to you if you don't mind. Hello, my name is Howard Rixey from Salcha. He's unable to attend the meeting tonight, but he wishes for these comments to be read and entered in the meeting record. He wants to address Ordinance 2026-11, an ordinance of the City of North Pole repealing Ordinance 2013-03, the Made in North Pole trademark, Title 5, Chapter 5, Section 13, which you passed at your previous meeting. The day after the ordinance was passed, the North Pole Community Chamber of Commerce was hand-delivered a letter by Mayor Turch authorizing the chamber to be the trademark agent on behalf of the City of North Pole for a period of 6 months through December 2026. He tends to understand your motivations to amend versus repeal the ordinance, that you want to give the North Pole Economic Development Committee a chance to craft a more responsive ordinance language to sustain the original ordinance purpose and the trademark program for long term. He finds it interesting that you put that much confidence in the North Pole Economic Development Committee. One of his concerns is that the committee is with the North Pole Economic Development Committee. Over the last few months, the committee has had difficulty achieving a quorum. So having meaningful discussion, debate, and developing recommendations is not without its challenges. Secondly, the council has not put a lot of stock into the committee's recommendations, period. Sorry. I say this in light of your previous record for devaluing the committee and failure to honor the values of the committee's 250+ hours put into studying and crafting the analysts of the Greater North Pole Community Economic Development and a Supporting Plan of December 2025, and choosing to discard the effort and shoving it to its sidelines, never to be heard again. Similarly, the City Council has chosen to ignore the city's strategic plan as a guiding document. You are charged to create a framework for city officials, including yourself, to guide their purpose, focus, and efforts, and a system of controlling metrics to foster real action and accountability for delivering a prosperous future for the community. I believe your decision to amend the ordinance versus repeal was flawed with optimism, with hopes that you'll deliver something more acceptable some point at the future, rather than choosing a path that can deliver more immediate action with no real value to the community by repealing the ordinance and the ownership of the trademark and a program to a more viable entity. More importantly, the remaining ordinance as amended has some questionable issues and holes in it that the chamber is questioning their willingness to be the trademark agent without written clarification and guidance from the city. Specifically, the fees referenced in lines 103 and 120. What are the fees? Who collects them? Who retains the fees? Number 2, North Pole agent, referenced in lines 148 and 149. Cites a city staff member or city council member is given written authority by the mayor to act as an administrative assistant for the program. Where is the mayor's authority to designate the chamber as an agent? Number 3, North Pole reference in North Pole area referenced in lines 150 to 153. The definition of the North Pole community differs from the chamber's definition. Number 4, Class B misdemeanor referenced in lines 109 through 120. What is the mechanism to initiate such a charge? Who will bear the cost of legal fees? Paragraph D, lines 116 through 118, introduces the risk to the agent, aka the chamber, without any protections to the chamber. As is, the program has too many unanswered questions and issues for the chamber to consider being the unauthorized agent of the city. So by amending the ordinance, you have achieved nothing in the terms of enabling the program from being shovel-ready, implemented, and benefiting the community right now. I respectfully suggest that the city council pass the resolution and transfer the trademark ownership to a viable entity, be it the chamber or another, that can reshape and implement the program. I am going to speak for myself now. I understand this is a repeal, and I sincerely hope that you guys agree to repeal the from last week and last meeting and transfer the trademark to us. We have thought about ways to help implement it and encourage everyone in our community to use it. I have owned a small business. I didn't even know it was an option until somebody else, another member of our chamber, brought it to my attention. It would be something really cool to be able to put on my bandanas and my dog treats and things that I do. So I really appreciate that, and I hope you guys do consider that.
I would just like to clarify that this is not a repeal of the ordinance. This is just a resolution. It
Sorry, the
transfers
resolution.
the trademark to
Okay.
the chamber.
Okay.
Are there any questions from Ms. Khan? Go ahead.
So you may not know the answer to this. The letter that you read and your comments talk about a repeal, which is not what's in front of us. This resolution is just to transfer the trademark. The letter talks about many issues in managing the trademark due to the way that the ordinance is currently written, because it needs rewritten. This would only transfer the trademark to you. The ordinance still stands technically. So I assume your concerns with managing it remain the same.
They will. We would need to find a resolution that we can all agree to make this entire thing either work in unison or pass the entire thing over. The resolution is a great start. And that's kind of what we're hoping for, is that we can start to build the relationship that we need to get this program going. 2013 was a long time ago. And there's a lot of local businesses that could really benefit from this.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Tyler Greenwood, Salt, Alaska. Sandra, I could actually speak to that. We are ready and poised to take that. We are aware of what needs to move forward with it. We've already spoken with legal counsel, who knows what they're talking about. to move it forward and to take care of it.
This resolution only transfers the trademark. Our ordinance still
And
technically.
it only
still
covers the
stands.
city of North Pole. We are aware of what needs to happen to take care of it legally.
I guess my question I would have for you is that when you came before us the initial time and talked to us about wanting the chamber to take it over, you said the chamber already has a plan and written documentation as to that plan. I believe it was Mr. Brandt that asked if you could send it to council members. You said, sure, no problem. I've never received that to review it, to see what your guys' plan is. I don't know if any other council members have received it, but I've never gotten that.
As I stated, it would mimic the city or the Made in Alaska program, but it is a process at this time that, given the circumstances that I've faced here and that I've dealt with certain council, I'm at this point unwilling to share. I will be honest. Given the circumstances of what deals with the trademark legally, I'm not willing to share that. And that is work that I've put into it. I understand what you're saying.
But if your position is that you're not willing to share with us as a council,
Because once I do, it becomes public.
this just gives.
No,
the-
once I do, you as a lawyer should understand that. Once I do, it becomes public. It goes on the record, and business moves faster than government, much faster. And in this world right now we live in, it moves at warp speed. It really does. And for this particular item, if it's brought before council in a plan, given the way that the last meeting went, moving it to Economic Development Committee, and the way that the last meeting went with that, it went to, well, let's move it to this committee. Okay, let's give them power. I received a letter. I walked into City Hall the next day after that council meeting to receive a letter that gave the chamber authority for 6 months. It was not to give the business that was stated twice in meeting last time. Okay, it was not as promised by the mayor. It was not what was promised. It was not what was stated on record twice. And at this particular time, with the council that the chamber has sought, legal counsel, this is something that the chamber needs to keep quiet and keep at this particular point to themselves until certain legal things are accomplished. Because if that is not done, there are legal ramifications beyond the city of North Pole. Okay? That's the way that works within the trademark community. Is that a field that you work in?
No, but that's also not my question.
I answered your question.
You did.
Are there any other questions? Thank you. Council discussion?
I don't agree with this. I think that the ordinance as it's currently written isn't workable, and I agree with that. And I understand that the promises of the mayor didn't occur, and I agree that there's issues with that. This doesn't fix that, though. This now hands over the trademark in perpetuity to not the city of North Pole, and there's no way to claw it back. So the organization can do whatever they want with it. They can completely kill it. They can hold it and do nothing with it, as has occurred with the city for the last however many years. There's no mechanism to monitor or control or require that it actually be used. And that's what was requested at the last meeting with all of the discussion that did occur, is that this is a program that people want, that this is a program that should be used. This just gives it away and doesn't set requirements for it to be used, for it to be monitored. It doesn't remove the ordinances that are on our books, which creates even more issues. And it just kind of sits out there. But there's nothing that creates anything that requires anybody to work together with anyone. It just says, this can be somebody else's problem. That's not a solution.
That was exactly my intent with this. The city of North Pole has had this for 13 years and has done absolutely nothing with it. And when a business came to the mayor and asked about it, he said, I don't know anything about it. For 11 months now, that business has been trying to get the mayor and the city to give them permission to use this trademark and has gotten absolutely nowhere. I think the chamber is the right place for this trademark. They will promote it, grow it, use it, where the city of North Pole never has. The city of North Pole is not in the business of economic development. The Chamber of Commerce is. It should be, and it's not. We repealed ordinance, like 2.27, whatever the ordinance, the entire part of code that has to do with economic development was repealed 12 years ago, I think. I can't remember, no, I can't remember when it was repealed, but the entire ordinance for economic development was repealed out of our code book. So this can be a great program. It cannot be a great program with the city. It is exactly in the chamber's wheelhouse. And transferring the trademark to them, the ordinance that's on the book, we cannot, they will own the trademark. We can't enforce anything, and that's exactly my intention.
Right, so there should be an ordinance with this that removes that out of our code as well, and not just gives away the trademark that we currently own.
Go ahead, Mr. Claus.
Thank you. Well, to address some of the things that Councilwoman Rolfe mentioned, as far as I'm concerned, the city already repealed the ordinance that dealt with Made in North Pole. We have a difference of opinion on that. But as far as I'm concerned, that actually happened. And as far as the city giving away something that might be worth something in the future, the only reason it would be worth something in the future is because the chamber or another entity would build it into something, and then to quote, claw it back.
But that's
end
my
quote.
statements. It's not that it's worth something. My statements is this does it in a way that doesn't require it to be used. And the whole issue that this came forward from was because it sat on our books for 13 years, and then a business has been trying to use it for 11 months. This sets no requirements to fix the problem. What was read into the record for us tonight from the chamber is they have grave concerns about managing this because of the ordinance that currently still sits on the books, but brings nothing forward as to how to fix that. And then the next question is met with hostility. We're giving this with no way to get it back if it's not actually used or implemented. And that's my concern with doing it this way, that this doesn't fix the issues that have been raised.
I will say again, we have done absolutely nothing with it in 13 years. When a business tried to use it, we couldn't even help them. The chamber is eager to take this on, and I think they will do a fantastic job with it. Former Mayor Ward, who wrote this program into our ordinances in the last Economic Development Committee meeting that I watched, said this was never meant to be a moneymaker. It was just meant to promote North Pole businesses. And that's what the Chamber of Commerce does, promotes North Pole businesses. He thinks the chamber is a good place for it. He just wants it to be used. That's what I want. That's what Ship Alaska wants. That's what the chamber wants. Any other discussion?
I think the chamber is well suited for it. Speaking as a former president of the North Pole Community Chamber of Commerce, if that had been presented during my tenure, I would have been all for it, and I still am.
We've had two businesses this evening said that they would like to use it. And in the chamber's hands, they will be able to use it. Any other discussion? Someone would call the roll?
On Resolution 2026-11, authorizing transfer of trademark. Ms. Rolfe,
No.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster.
Yes.
That passed 5-1.
Item is item 13D, Resolution 2026-12. A motion?
Move to introduce resolution 2026-12, reserve transfers for capital projects.
Second Skips.
Any public testimony on this ordinance or this resolution? I'm sorry. Council discussion. I would like to say that I do have questions about this that cannot be answered this evening. Talking about transferring $1.5 million. Use these funds to fund capital projects over the next 12 months. It doesn't say what projects. I'm assuming that it's the solar, but I'm not sure. Also, it says transfer these funds from the AMLIP account to the City of North Pole General Fund checking account. If this is for solar, the majority of the solar project would be, the majority of the cost of the solar project would be on the utilities side. And we opened up a separate checking account for utilities. So I'm not sure exactly what this is asking us for. So for that reason, I would like to make a motion to postpone this resolution until the July 20th meeting.
Second.
Any public testimony on that amendment? Council discussion? Will please call the roll?
On the motion to postpone Resolution 2026-12, reserve transfers for capital projects, Mr. Williams, Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Claus.
Yes.
Pass 6-0.
Councilman Brandt. I just have a question.
What?
Is it, is it too late for me to change my vote on 13B?
I believe it's too late for that.
Okay.
Yes. That's
Okay.
Oh, for 13D?
B.
Oh, B. Okay. Yeah, it's too late for that. So item 13E was consented. Item 13F. Motion.
Move to introduce under new business item F, acting pay, city clerk.
Second.
Any public testimony on this? Oh, staff report, I'm sorry. Who would like to give the staff report on this? Or who else would?
There's a memo requesting acting pay for me. for filling in with the clerk's duties. I have code pulled up, and it's item J. On 2.36.470, item J.
Any public testimony on this? Now, council discussion.
I guess I'm confused. What is this supposed to be doing?
Sorry, go ahead. No, I just had to follow up. I don't even understand why this is on the agenda.
I don't either.
So if somebody is filling the role of another employee, in this case, Ms. Kimmel is filling the role of clerk, they get a two-step increase in acting in.
But our code already addresses that. That's nothing for us to vote on.
Ask Larry, not me. Wrote this. From what I understand, if you recall, with our former clerk, when she was eligible for her professional development step increases, our attorney said that that had to come to council to be approved. So I'm assuming that since the clerk works for the council and we are her or the clerk's supervisor, we would be the one to approve this. That's what I'm guessing.
So I guess it says per section 3.4F, the mayor shall make all required appointments subject to confirmation by the council. So I would assume appointment, I appoint, goes on to say I appoint her as the city's acting clerk.
Right, but
until one can be
3.4F refers to, does not refer to this though. No, again, like I said, I did not write this.
3.4F of what?
I don't know. You have any idea, Maggie?
Let me see if it's charter, maybe.
While you guys are looking at that, Mr. Claus, did you have input on this? Why it was pulled off the consent? Did you have something you wanted to address?
Yes, I was just wondering why it was retroactive, since I brought up during two council meetings upon our previous clerk's resignation. Do we have an acting clerk? Don't we have an acting clerk? And for two separate meetings, no one said anything about approving an active clerk, an acting clerk, or who the acting clerk might be, or any of that. It was just ignored. So as far as I'm concerned, during that time period, we did not have an acting clerk as far as the categorization of it goes here, with or without a step increase or two. So I'm kind of wondering why it took so long the position hasn't even been advertised as far as I know, except internally with the city. So I'm kind of confused about how this is all conspiring, especially since it seems to differ. It's the departure from what the standard that had been set with the previous clerk and the mayor. So it's confusing to me. And I wanted us, since we are the supervisors or the city clerk, whoever that may be, or the acting city clerk, so that we can make an intelligent decision rather than just kind of rubber stamping something that one of the things I tried to make clear in some other meetings is the city clerk is under our supervision, not under the mayor's supervision, apart from the mayor just being a member of city council. So if we're not being apprised of who's acting clerk, who isn't acting clerk upon request of that information, how do we know what's going on behind the scenes? It just seemed kind of fishy to me. So I just wanted to get this out in the air. Perhaps the mayor has some input into it. Perhaps he doesn't. Perhaps our clerk has some input in it. Perhaps she doesn't. And we've had these sort of problems before. Things have been promised to certain people, department heads, for example, or our city clerk in the past that just haven't come to pass. And I'm just wondering if this kind of falls into that category. And the person who could answer this question, well, or Maggie could answer this, but to some degree, but this seems to be something that is originating from the mayor's office itself, not from city council. So I just wanted some clarification about all and at least have a discussion, even though it might be limited, just because the mayor's not here. Thank you.
I do want to address about the advertising of the position. It has been advertised for weeks now internally. It was in the News Minor. It's on the AML's website. It's advertised with the AAMC, which is the Alaska Association of Municipal Clerks. I've got it on Handshake, which is the portal that the university uses. It's through the university system.
Thank you. I stand corrected.
I think based on the discussion that has occurred, it would be appropriate to postpone this to our July 20th meeting. So I would move that we postpone this to the July 20th meeting, really for two purposes: to give additional information for the mayor who put this before us, and also possibly from our legal counsel. As per code, we appoint the clerk. I don't know if that means we also need to appoint the acting clerk and need to do that officially or not.
Second.
Discussion, is there public testimony in that? I would say it would cost us more to ask Rob that question than her pay would be. So I would rather not get the attorney involved in this.
But we need to do things legally, whether it costs us
Okay.
or not. I mean, we need to
Okay.
know who has the authority to make her acting clerk. If the mayor doesn't have the authority to make her acting clerk, then we technically can't give her pay of acting either, because she's not even appointed into that position. So it's a question that should take no more than
Okay.
a 6-minute email back to us that says,
I will say
does it?
that this references 2.36.470J, and that says acting pay will be granted any employee who covers the essential job duties of a vacated position for more than 30 days. I don't know if that means that the pay starts at the 30th day. That's a question. I suppose if we're going to be talking to the attorney, that's a question for the attorney.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Did you pull up 3.4F again?
So that's under charter, chapter 3 of charter, the mayor.
Of the
It doesn't reference what required appointments it's talking about. For instance, when he hires his department heads, those don't need to be confirmed by council. He appoints them and they're not confirmed by council. So I'm not sure what this particular item is referring to or why it was included in this memo.
No, she needs to call.
So any other discussion on the postponement of this item to the next meeting, the July 20th meeting? Mr. Schuster?
I mean, I don't have any concern with that. I just feel bad for Maggie that she's not going to be compensated in a appropriate time for the extra work she's doing.
Any other discussion? Okay. Mo, please take the roll.
On the postponement of acting pay city clerk to the July 20th meeting, Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt.
Yes.
I pass 5-0,
That was 5-1.
5-1, math.
Excuse me. The next item is the stormwater memo. Can I get a motion? I know, but we amended the
Amended it and added a G.
agenda. Placed them.
Move to introduce city council memorandum, stormwater retention basin.
Second.
Okay, for the staff report, I understand that there's questions about whether this can be added to the agenda or not from going through our city code. This follows code from going through Title 29 that just talks about noticing meetings. I could have approved this myself. It's under the mayor's spending limit. And as mayor pro tem with the mayor absent, would have approved this. I decided to bring this to council. It's a little time sensitive. What this would do is enlarge the stormwater retention basin that we have at the corner of Homestead and West Fifth to help with the spring runoff problem that we have flooding the neighborhood there. The contractor can do this next week. And with the water table as low as it is right now, he would be able to go down further than if we waited until the water table raised up. Any public testimony on this item?
Adam Rolfe, Lake Drive. I don't know how you can ask for public testimony when the public has nothing in front of them that's not posted. It's not, there's no
There's
printout.
copies of it on the clerk's desk.
There's no printout with the agenda.
I gave them to the clerk at the beginning of the meeting.
How was
I'm
the
sorry for
public
interrupting.
supposed to know this? So I commend you for passing the committee transparency stuff, and then you do something like this. It's super shady. It may be super necessary, but you're spending a lot of money, of taxpayer money, and the taxpayers can't even talk about it. I looked over there during the meeting, didn't see anything. Looked online, there's nothing online. So how can the public call in via Zoom to give public testimony? It's super shady, and this should be postponed. Time sensitive or not. Super sketchy. That's all I
Any
got.
questions for Ms. Rolfe? Thank you. Any council discussion on this item?
Yes, I have concerns.
First off, I don't think it's legal to add this and bring it before us on the day that we're meeting with no information. But past the legality issues, I have concerns that there's been no studies done. There's no information as to will this prevent the issues? Will this cause other issues? What exactly is going to be done? None of this has been scoped out. It's we're going to go hire an excavator. They're going to come this week and do the work with no engineering studies, no anything to say this will or will not fix the problem, cause greater issues. I understand that we have a flooding issue and that it needs to be fixed, but it's not new. We've known about it for a while. I agree it needs fixed, but it needs to be done in the right way. And this is not anywhere close to it. It doesn't answer any of the questions. Did we, bid it out? Did we find, anybody else that could do the work? Are they the cheapest? How is this work being done or handled? None of that information is in here. We have the money in the budget to cover the cost of this currently. This isn't something we estimated being done when we went through the budget cycle. This is a lot of money we're spending. Where is this money coming from?
I'd like to answer some of those questions. As far as the having it engineered, Councilmember Schuster and I spent a considerable amount of time, about 3 days during breakup, going around the neighborhood, looking at what was actually happening in real time. We talked to the residents, we talked to the developer, we talked to contractors. We had the engineer from Respec with us. So she did come around with us. She agreed that this would be basically the best bang for the buck to take care of the problem in that particular neighborhood. Our former director of city services spent a great deal of time on this also. We originally had planned on buying the lot across from West First. That turned out not to be an option. So the idea came forward to just enlarge the current basin as big as possible. This will more than offset the construction that's going on in the Ford subdivision there that previously was told that they would not be able to continue building until we found an answer to the problems here. So we have had an engineer look at it. We have done extensive, we spent an extensive amount of I did call around, and this is actually a very, very good price. One of the reasons why is because this particular contractor is right down the street, and he's able to bring his larger equipment there, and it will not cost a lot to demo everything. Again, I could have just signed this. I chose to bring it to council. I just wanted to be, to Mr. Rolf's point, I wanted to be transparent by bringing this to council and to the meeting to let everybody know what we were doing. If I just signed this, nobody would know anything about it. We have known about this problem for a long time and have done next to nothing to fix it. A couple years ago, we spent nearly $1 million hauling away snow, try to keep the flooding in the area. Is $23,000. The engineers, if you look at our stormwater plan, the engineers originally recommended $600,000 to dig a gravel pit in that area on the same plot of land. Nobody thinks that would help. But for $23,000, we can more than double the water retention there. Try to keep the water from going further north up Homestead and flooding the houses up there. I think it's the very least that we can do for that neighborhood and the most cost-effective use of taxpayers' money. I agree. I should have just signed this and not brought it to council, but I did want to be transparent.
That's not how transparency works. This is less than transparent. I don't think you had the authority just to sign it. Yeah, it's under the spending limit, but there's no authority to do this work. Yeah, the spending limit's under, but there's no authority. You would have had to order this work. You can't just do what you want as long as you're under the spending limit. That's not how our rules work. You just told me you've been working on this for a month and a half and you bring it forward the day of.
Not say I've been working on it for a month and a half. I said during break.
Engineers
Yeah,
breakup
that was,
happened over a month and a half ago, which means that you've talked about the issues and the ways to fix it for a month and a half. You talked to other people and you bring it forward to us with no time to do any sort of research.
you recall, our director of city services resigned and has left a big hole in the city. And nothing is being done for remediating the stormwater issue. Cody, our public works director, took it upon himself to find a solution, find a contractor, do all this. He did a fantastic job. This came to me after the deadline to get it on the agenda. So here we are. According to our code, this is, I can bring this, but if not, I mean, if we need to talk to our attorney tomorrow and see if this is legal, that's fine too. Oops.
Yeah, I do agree that we do need this to help out with the flooding. But I'm in agreement with Councilwoman Rolfe about how you brought this to us. Because I remember several months ago, several meetings, we went round and round. You were saying about we need to give a week's notice. We need to let the citizens know. We need to let them know so they can come and testify and everything else. But now you went against everything you fought so hard for several months ago. I mean, it went in my mind, this is suiting you, so now you're doing it and you're using other stuff to say it's legal. But just looking at it face value, it's not. You can't drop something on an hour prior to a meeting saying, yeah, we're going to put this on the agenda and we're going to vote for it. I understand you could have went ahead and paid for it and not let us know. Well, I appreciate you bringing it out to us. And, we're to have this discussion. But I do agree, we do need this. It's just the way you brought it up, I don't agree with. Thank you.
Okay, I will say this doesn't suit me. He said this suits me, and that's why I did it. This doesn't benefit me whatsoever. I live 2 miles from there. Mr. Schuster, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just make a point that the estimate's dated 7/2. It's not like, this estimate's dated 6/15 and it was purposely, the contractor in the world outside of city government doesn't work on city government time. And he doesn't pay attention to our agenda and how things move. When we call them, it's very reasonable for us to call somebody on 6/18 or 6/20 and say, hey, we would like to get an estimate for this. And a contractor to say, okay, but I need to do it. I need to do it this week. That's my openings. That's when the groundwater is low. That's when it needs to be done. So I certainly understand both sides of it. Unfortunately, in the contractor world, their schedule doesn't revolve around city government, which that's where the issue lies. My next point would be, do we have any other options at our disposal to notice this and vote on it by the end of the week or next week, so Phil could still do the work.
Other than a special meeting. I don't see how we could other than a special meeting. Like I said, I received this estimate well past the time to get it on the agenda. I couldn't have publicly noticed. I think this is time sensitive. That's why I brought it to council. I apologize that it's not the ideal way to do this. But something needs to be done. This is a great cost-effective solution. Despite what Mr. Skip says, it doesn't benefit me whatsoever. Anyway, it's not how I would prefer to do it, but like I said, I wanted to bring this to council, so here we are.
I would like to just put on the record too, and it obviously doesn't help the case. This isn't a solution to the problem as a whole. This is a help. This is one item that's going to dramatically help. And so when we come back and, say, oh, this needs done and this needs done, this is the cheapest, most cost-effective route we can take right now to alleviate the issues. So I just want to put that out there. So in April, when there is still flooding, not as bad, but there is still flooding, this is a cheap solution, the cheapest solution possible to divert as much water as possible to that neighborhood, but it's not a cure-all.
Any other discussion? Well, please call the roll.
On the city council memorandum, stormwater retention basin, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Skips,
No.
Ms. Rolfe,
No.
that passed 4-2.
Okay, I think we're down to council member comments.
We'll start with Mr. Claus.
Thank you. We have elections coming up, and I heard that the borough, Fairbanks North Star Borough, is still looking for some poll workers for the elections that are going to be here in North Pole in November, not so much in October, but November. So there's some openings if somebody would like to get in touch with the appropriate people and volunteer. Or that's actually not volunteering. I think it's like $20 an hour or something. So if somebody's interested in doing the poll work here, that would be great. In the meantime, enjoy the nice weather, and thank you for sticking with us.
Mr. Williams,
Say this time.
Mr. Brandt,
No comment.
Mr. Schuster,
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Rolfe,
Just want to thank Chamber of Commerce for the hard work they did in putting on the parade. I thought it was a fantastic parade. I would like to know if they have a committee or something that actually does the parade, or people that volunteer to make it. So maybe I can talk to you afterwards, because there were definitely some issues with all the operations this year, but it was definitely done very well.
Mr. Skips,
I have nothing.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
we're adjourned at 9:13.
Everything.